guys, welcome to my 5,000 mile M5 update. Also, a little bit of a discussion about what's happening with my content into 2026. I'm not going to beat around the bush. We simply can't go any further without discussing those Edelweiss wheels. Aren't they absolutely drop dead gorgeous? If you watched the last update video I did on this car, you'll know that I'm not entirely in love with it. And one of those reasons is down to its aesthetics. But now that it has these wheels on it, I think it's actually a good looking car. In fact, every time I lock it and walk away from it, I find myself turning around and looking at it. For those of you that have followed me for a while, you'll know that I've run Edelweiss wheels on my M3s for the past 3 or so years. And although the copper bronze wheels that were on those cars weren't to everyone's taste, I absolutely loved them. And I think they looked much better in real life than they did on film or in pictures. But this time around, I knew I had to go for silver wheels. And when Eric out at Edelweiss in Germany told me that he was developing some wheels for the G90 M5 Saloon and G99 M5 Touring, well, I couldn't wait to get my hands on them. And in fact, as far as I know, these are the first set that are fitted to an M5 Touring. I've seen a couple of M5 Saloons on their Instagram, which I'll link below, so make sure you check that out. The big dilemma I had, and I know it's first world problems, is which finish of silver would I go for with my M5? Dark chrome, frozen silver, gunmetal, but in the end, I went with quicksilver, and genuinely, I couldn't be happier. They are absolutely stunning. They're such a beautiful finish. I have no springs or spacers on this car. That is how it left the factory. Yet those wheels and their fitment are absolutely spot on. In terms of sizes, I've gone for the standard staggered setup. So we've got 20-inch on the front axle, 21-inch on the rear axle. You can go 21 front and 22 rear, but I decided to stick to the regular fitment for 2 reasons. Number one, Michelin developed that tyre for this car. It's a Pilot Sport S5, star marked. And I wanted to keep those tyres. So in order to keep those tyres, I went for the same size wheels. And number two, although I'm sure going up an inch on the front and the rear axle would look even better, I live in the UK and our roads are pretty bad. When you factor in that the M5's ride quality is probably its weakest point, I figured that going bigger on wheels and smaller on sidewalls would probably make the ride even worse, and I don't want that. If you do go for the bigger wheel setup, you can't get the Pilot Sport S5s, but you can still get some Pilot Sport 4Ss. So it's not all doom and gloom, but these are the latest and greatest tyres. To prevent these beautiful wheels and tyres from getting stolen, I've fitted some RimGard 1 locking wheel bolts, and we'll talk more about those when we get behind the wheel. I'm actually getting married in 48 hours, and I mean exactly 48 hours. In 2 days, I'll be saying I do to Lou, and I'm super excited about that. If you want to see the very special BMW that I've borrowed to drive to the wedding with my brother, hang around till the end of this video, because I plan on filming a small little snippet of our journey to the wedding venue. Although we'll be heading to Portugal for our honeymoon straight after the wedding, Lou and I decided to go to the Lake District for a couple of days last week, and we took the M5. And on that journey, I discovered a couple of qualities and positives about this car. The first one being that we managed to average 30 miles to the gallon. And that was for the entire trip, over 550 odd miles, a mixture of weather and driving. We got home, I didn't plug it in once, and it averaged 30 miles to the gallon, which I think is absolutely outstanding. In fact, if I'd done exactly the same journey in my M3 Touring, I wouldn't have gotten more than, let's say, 25 or 26 mpg on the combined. So it really does prove and show that this car, if you're not driving it really hard, can be very efficient. And I'm sure its complex M hybrid system has a lot to thank for that. The next thing to talk about is the ride quality. Now, I was here on this road a couple of months ago complaining to you about the ride quality of this car. And yes, I believe that that is this car's biggest weak point. But when I got up to the lakes, I discovered that as soon as I got out of my postcode and away from Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire's terrible roads, well, the ride quality was much, much better. But then I realised that I'd fitted these Edelweiss wheels only a few days before we left. And after coming back down to our average roads, the car feels so much better. And I thought that I was imagining that. I thought I was making it up in my head until I spoke to Eric at Edelweiss. And he told me that these wheels on average are about 4.5 kilos lighter per corner. So I've nearly saved 20 kilos in unsprung mass. And in doing so, it's given this car a better ride quality. So not only do these Edelweiss wheels look 1,000 times better, at least in my eyes, compared to anything that BMW offer you, they also give you a huge performance gain, not just in ride quality, but in the way the car feels. You see, in the past, when I've borrowed an M3 press car that has carbon ceramic brakes, and then I jump back into my M3 that has steel brakes, well, you can notice the lack of feel and the lack of dynamics in my M3 compared to the press car that has the carbon ceramics. That's most of the reason that BMW always spec their press cars with carbon ceramic brakes, because not only do they save a little bit of weight, but they save weight where it's really important and therefore make the whole car feel better. And I've experienced that many times over the years with various press cars. And although I only have the steel brakes in this car, I've now saved almost 4.5 kilos per corner, which in turn has given me a car that feels more alive. It feels better when I'm pushing on, which we'll experience in a minute, but most importantly, it's transformed the car when you knock everything back into comfort, into drive, and you just use it as a regular 5 Series. The ride quality genuinely is so much better. I'm on identical tyres, so it's nothing to do with the brilliant Michelin Pilot Sport S5 tyres. It is down to the fact that the wheels weigh that much less and therefore must give the suspension a lot less work, and those shock absorbers are able to deal with the compression and rebound a lot better, and have really transformed this car. So if you have an M5 Saloon or Touring and you think it suffers from bad ride quality, which I think if you're being honest to yourself and you live in the UK, you will admit that, fitting a set of Edelweiss wheels, and I know this sounds like a hard sell and genuinely it's not, but fitting these wheels has suddenly made this car come alive and fixed some of its major faults. I briefly mentioned RimGard in the intro. Now, for those of you that aren't aware of RimGard, they're a Swedish company that have been around for just over 10 years now, and they specialise in producing anti-theft devices for your wheels or your rims, hence RimGard. Now, those of you that have watched my content for long enough will know that I actually worked with RimGard back in 2019 when I had my then new M2 competition. They sent me a set of their original RimGard products. In fact, I reached out to them because I found them online and we started our relationship that way. And those devices kept my wheels safe and on the M2 because back then I didn't live in such a nice area. Anyway, fast forward to today and they've recently launched their RimGard 1 product. And that is what is on my M5 and is keeping my Edelweiss wheels and those beautiful tyres safe and on the car, meaning I can hopefully park it pretty much anywhere, like when I go into London and visit my parents, and hopefully I won't come out and find the car on axle stands. Talking of that, we all know that cars and car parts theft are on the rise. In fact, wheels and tyres are the third most popular item to steal off a modern car, especially something premium like this M5 Touring. And the cost of me replacing these four wheels and tyres is going to be upwards of £5,000, and that's before the inconvenience of me coming back to the car and realising it doesn't have any wheels on it, and also before the high probability of whoever's stolen the wheels is probably going to have left the car on its axles or on some bricks and stands if I'm lucky, and therefore potentially damaging my brakes and my suspension, etc. The list goes on. So not only am I going to be massively out of pocket, I'm going to be massively inconvenienced. Now let's just talk a little bit about the product itself. RimGard haven't reinvented the wheel, excuse the pun, but they have reinvented and massively improved upon the locking wheel nut. As you hopefully know, all new cars are supplied with locking wheel nuts, including my M5. But what you probably didn't know, and this is quite shocking, is that the locking wheel nuts that are on this car only have 20 or 25 different key combinations, meaning it's very easy to source those keys and head out and steal some wheels and tyres. Thankfully, RimGard's barrel and key combination, well, they have a few more than 25. In fact, how does 66,000 combinations sound? Definitely a massive improvement. They give you 2 keys and a key card, so make sure you keep that key card somewhere safe in case you need to get some keys cut down the track. Also, make sure that you keep one of those keys on your car key ring, just in case you get a flat tire or a puncture and you need that. Install the adapter that they also supply in the boot where the old locking wheel nut used to be, and you're good to go. I urge you to head over to RimGard's website. There'll be a link in the description below, and if you fancy getting yourself a set of RimGard ones, please use the code JOE10, that's JOE10, to get 10% off your order. I can't recommend them high enough. I've worked with them and known about RimGard for over 6 years now, and the guys and girls that run it are wonderful people based out in Sweden, and I'm just glad that I've got a set on my brand new wheels. Also, if you want to check out Edelweiss, obviously I'll put a link to their website in the description below. Right, let's have a little bit of fun in this car before I wrap the video up. This, as you might have guessed and figured, is the road they call Harry's Road, and it's the road that I do the majority of my filming on because it's very local to me. They've relaid this section here, and thankfully Harry did say that there's a lot less grip on this tarmac than there was before, and it certainly feels like it, even at a relatively slow pace. I think there's already been a couple of accidents of people going a little bit mad through those switchbacks, so take it easy if you're a regular up here and you're not aware of that being relayed. It's beautiful tarmac now, but the camber seems to have disappeared, and I'm sure that tarmac gets quite slippery in wet conditions. I'm not going to lie, it's been a challenging year in terms of YouTube and ad revenue, and I don't expect any of you to get your violins out because I've still had a fantastic year and I've managed to continue doing what I love doing, making videos about cars and now motorbikes and bringing it to my channels. The rate that YouTube pay, especially in the automotive sector, seems to have reduced substantially, like less than half, and none of us really know why that is. but it is, and I guess it was going to eventually happen. What that all means is I'm going to have to rely on channel partners more than ever. People like GT85, who have in fact just signed me up for 2026, which is fantastic news. Thanks so much for that, guys. And people like my good friends at Michelin UK. I've not heard anything from them yet, but that usually happens a little bit later in the year, so I'll keep my fingers crossed. But anything that I do advertise across my channels will be organic. So next year, I really need to change things up a little bit. And I've noticed, understandably, that the majority of my audience aren't that interested in very expensive brand new cars. I'm going to try and step a little bit back in time and review older cars that are a lot more affordable. And I've got some really good ideas that are already in place. So I guess my summary and conclusion for this 5,000 mile update is a positive one. It seems that installing much lighter wheels has improved this car overall. Not only handling, but most importantly to me, is the ride quality has definitely improved. And I take my hat off to Edelweiss for producing such beautiful lightweight wheels. Please let me know in the comments below what you think, because I know, like I said, my copper bronze ones on the M3 that have now found themselves a new M3 Touring owner, well, they were a little bit Marmite in some ways because they didn't come across as well in pictures and on film. Whereas these, I mean, I personally think they look absolutely stunning. And dare I say it, please don't shoot me for this, I think this car has certain E61 M5 wagon vibes about it. Take it easy, and I'll see you at another video very, very soon. I hope you enjoy the Z8 clip, and I hope that I'm on time to my own wedding in, well, less than 48 hours time. Fingers crossed. I also hope that the sun's shining. Cheers. Right then, guys, as promised, I'm now in BMW UK's beautiful Z8, and I'm with my brother, who you might recognise from my Australian vlogs that I did about 18 months ago. And we are heading to my wedding. I'm about to go and marry Lou, which, yeah, I'm super. It's been 24 hours of a lot of emotions. I didn't sleep that well last night, so I think I'm feeling a little bit on edge today. I just can't wait for today to spend it with my family and so many good friends of mine and Lou's, obviously. And what a car. It's been a good few years since I've driven a Z8. I've only driven one before this, and that actually belonged to Wayne Berry, who owns all of the Berry dealerships. That was a red one about 4 or 5 years ago. And I love that car, and getting back in this, it's just wonderful. It's firstly so pleasing to look at aesthetically on the outside and on the inside. It's so timeless in here because it's kind of before the era of early and ugly sat-navs. So everything's just really back to basics. But we've got things like 6-speed manual gearbox. We've got heated seats. I think we've even got xenon headlights, not that I've used them yet. But of course, the main thing is we have basically E39 M5 running gear in this thing, and it's just wonderful. It's such a great combination and blend of everything. It looks beautiful, it drives wonderfully, the ride quality is amazing. What an amazing car to turn up to my wedding in. Without question, it was the first choice, and I asked the wonderful boys and girls down at the BMW UK press team if I could borrow this, and they didn't hesitate in saying yes. It's a shame in a way that I'm not going to get to spend more time in it. It goes back in a couple of days, and Lou and I are obviously super busy after the wedding. But anyway, Jack, how are you feeling?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, looking forward to the day.
Yeah.
Loving the car, so.
Yeah, I've had a little bit of time because it got delivered 2 days ago. So I took my brother and his lovely partner, Rani, out, and who else? I took Lou out for a drive around the block. In fact, 2 days ago, the sun was out and it was beautiful. And I don't want to jinx today's weather because at least it's not raining at the moment, but it's not as warm as it was a couple of days ago. But we had a lovely little spirited drive in my local area, and yeah, just all got to enjoy this car. But anyway, I am going to end this video now before I probably start crying again. I need to save some of these tears for Lou because she takes the mickey out of me for crying at Top Gun these days, and she said if I don't cry on her wedding, then there's something wrong. And there's nothing wrong with crying at all, for anyone that's watching. I'll see you at another video very, very soon. Take it easy. Hey! Trust Andy to beat me to my own wedding. So that's one of my best mates, Andy and Ruth. And Andy is always, not only on time, he's always early. He's helped me film a few videos over the years. And today, even though I'm meant to be the first person at the wedding, Andy's going to beat me. Typical. Absolutely typical. Guys, take it easy. I'll see you very, very soon. Cheers. Here's and out. How's it going? I'm literally going to be last to my own wedding, I think. Well, maybe a little bit, yeah. Hey, how's it going, Jenna? Tony! Morning, morning. How are you? Good, good. Oh, look at that. That's absolutely.
Maybe put your
Oh, I'm up there.
Yeah, let's walk it.
Yeah.